Hey guys, I hope you're having a beautiful day. So today I want to talk about changing anxiety symptoms. Can anxiety symptoms change over time? I'm going to be discussing my symptom changes that I went through and some of the reasons that I think that this happens. It's very frustrating, but if you're dealing with this, you are not alone. But do me a huge favor, smash the like button down below if you're ready to kick anxiety in the butt today. Leave me a comment. Let me know, do your anxiety symptoms change? All right, because again, you're not alone. If you're new here, please do me another huge favor and hit the subscribe button and the bell so you can get updated when I put out these anxiety help videos. I've been doing it for a long time. I love doing it, and I'm gonna keep doing it. So I want you guys to be updated. So first, I'm just gonna kind of go over the symptom transitions that I had during my anxiety journey. I know a lot of you have been watching this channel for a while, and you knew that early on in my anxiety, I suffered from cardiophobia. So most of my symptoms were heart related. So it started with a panic attack. I jumped on Google, I saw the symptoms and it said heart attack. So I assumed heart attack. And for the next 2 to 2.5 years, I primarily was focused on my chest and the symptoms that were associated with my heart. So I had extremely fast heart rate. So we're talking beats per minute, anywhere from 90 to like 125 at rest, 160 to 180 beats per minute whenever I would have panic attacks. Whenever I would go into fight or flight survival mode, I would have high blood pressure. So we're talking anywhere from like 130 to 145, 150 over like 95 to 100 at rest. And then we're talking like 160, 180 over 110 during panic attacks, possibly higher. I didn't always have access to checking and whenever I would have some of the most severe attacks. So I definitely could have had numbers, heart rate and blood pressure higher than the ones that I mentioned, believe it or not. I would have chest pain everywhere, high, low, left, right, center. The types of pain that I would experience could be crushing chest pain, sharp, radiating. It would move around. It would kind of radiate to my back. It would radiate to my left side, which would scare me even more because, you know, you do your Googling and your research, it's going to say heart attack. And sometimes the pain would start shooting down my left arm. So I would have that. I would have numbness and tingling, especially on my left side. And when you look that up, it says heart problems, heart attack as well. So I made that assumption. So I dealt with those symptoms. And I still had a bunch of other symptoms, but they weren't like my big focus. And that's kind of something that I want you to take away from this video. What you fear the most is going to be your primary symptoms. That's how it works. Fear feels the symptoms. If you're having some other symptoms, but you don't show a lot of focus and attention to them, they won't be your primary ones. They won't be the ones that are magnified or, you know, your main squeeze, right? So I dealt with the cardiophobia for 2.5 years. When I finally got past that, I developed some acceptance because I had health anxiety, obviously, with my panic disorder. I started to finally accept, okay, this isn't a heart problem. I would have died by now. I've survived 1 million heart attacks, right? So I finally got past that. And see, for me, I thought that was it. I thought I was done. I'm not gonna have this anxiety thing anymore. My panic should be gone. And, you know, I had a pretty good month or so where my symptoms were still kind of there, my heart symptoms, but they were dying off. Why? Because finally I had acceptance. I didn't fear them as much, so they started to dwindle and dissipate. So that was cool, and I was cool with that, right? Obviously, I was thrilled. I thought I was done with this for good. And then one day, I had a little bit of a stomach ache. Now, this could have been caused by anxiety that hadn't fully been resolved, or it could have just been a stomach issue. I had stomach issues growing up, never had a great digestive system, so I could have just had a stomach cramp. But what did I do? I focused on it, and it got worse, and then it stuck around for a couple days. And then what did I do? I jumped back on Google. If you don't want this thing to keep going, guys, especially with health anxiety, something that was a common theme whenever my symptoms would change, I would jump on Google and it would tell me some horrible crap, and then I'd be stuck on those symptoms for a while. So if you can eliminate Google from the get-go, like, this is going to be an easier situation for you. So a little bonus tip. It's not really a bonus tip. It's kind of the obvious, but some of you continue to do it. Stop Googling. It'll save you some freaking time. So I had the stomach issue, and then I had some issues with like discoloration with my stool. I had a little bit of blood in there. I know it's TMI, I know, but a lot, we pay attention to what's coming out, right? And when there's changes in that, we get freaked out if you have hypochondria and health anxiety. So I start typing these things into freaking Google, and then I start seeing a bunch of stuff like colon cancer, digestive cancer, and then I get it in my head like, oh my God, I have this, not really thinking like I have a whole history of catastrophizing and thinking I have crap wrong with me. It just was heart stuff, strokes, aneurysm, it was mainly cardiac type associated things and blood clots and things like that. And I have a history with that. So you'd think I would have learned, but I jumped on Google. Obviously, I didn't get over my fear of death and dying and disease or negative thinking and catastrophizing. Therefore, I wasn't going to handle the Google search very well, right? So if your symptoms are changing and you're jumping on Google and stuff, but you haven't resolved your fear of death or dying, you haven't resolved your catastrophizing problem or your negative thinking problem, then these things are just going to continue. That's why you have to have a total transformation to recover. But back to the story anyways. I then had that pain there for the next 2 to 3 months. It never went away. I guess whenever I would sleep, I didn't really feel it if I had like a deep sleep. But, upon awakening, it was there. It wasn't, I guess on a scale of 1 to 10, it was like a 4 or 5. But still, when you have that like nonstop all the time, it gets to be annoying. So I had that pain there for a long time. Finally, I came around and I was like, I'm going to schedule an appointment. So I scheduled an appointment so they could check it out. And 2 hours later, I'm sitting on the couch and I don't feel the pain anymore. And I was like, what the crap? The pain's gone? So just the fact that I was going to get some reassurance gave me enough peace, and it allowed my subconscious to let go and allowed me to take my focus off of it, and the tension in that area dissipated. Therefore, the symptom in that area dissipated. And this blew my mind because it's like, damn, we can focus tension in certain little localized spots, to cause symptoms to stay there. That symptom went away that day, never came back. Okay, so again, I'm like grateful. I'm like, oh my God. I even canceled my appointment. I was like, there's no reason to go. I was like, wow, this is anxiety. So I accepted that I didn't have stomach cancer. But the problem is, guys, I'm not learning from my mistakes. I'm just happy in that moment that I don't have that disease, right? I'm not handling the big problem. So then after that, it moves into throat cancer scare. I get some weird symptoms in my throat. I have some throat pain again. This could have just been from a minor cold or something, or some rawness in my throat, from whatever. It could have been me eating something and scratched my throat on the inside. I don't know. But I got it in my head that I had throat cancer because what did I do again? I jumped on Google and I typed it in and it said throat pain and issues when you swallow, throat cancer. I remember sitting down with my wife. I think we were married at that time, but regardless, I sat down with her and I basically told her, like, I'm sorry. I have throat cancer and I'm going to have to go get evaluated, but I don't think it's going to be good. I love you. I'm so upset, because we just had another son and now I'm going to put him through all this. And I'm just telling her up and down. She was even getting nervous, she was even getting nervous and scared. And I feel so horrible about that. But I was like, that's what I would do. Like whenever I would Google stuff and I had those symptoms, I was like, that's me. What's my prognosis? What is my treatment going to look like? I'm 22. What are the odds of me dying from this cancer? Because I know I have it. But that was my process with each of these symptom changes. So I dealt with that for a couple weeks. And before I could actually get checked out at the NT, that pain went away. So I was like, oh, dodged a bullet again, right? But again, didn't learn. And then it went to, I had headaches and stuff. So I went to the brain cancer thought, and the thing that fed into that was there's a genetic component with that with my family. I have 2 grandfathers that passed away from that, so a great grandfather and then a grandfather on the same side. So me and my dad are like, we're always kind of thinking like, maybe one of us is going to end up with brain cancer towards the end of our time. So I was just thinking like, oh man, that means it's going to be me and it's going to hit me earlier than it hit them. I haven't had the healthiest lifestyle and this is it. So that fed into that and made that extremely real for me. And then I went into this lymphoma scare. So my symptoms changed again. I started to get tinnitus, which, I had the ringing in the ear. Anxiety can cause that, but I had issues in my right ear since I was a kid. So it could have just been a minor infection or something going on. And I had some stuffiness, some pressure. Anxiety can lead to that as well. Tension can be literally anywhere in your body. So I had that, and I had some tenderness down here in one of my lymph nodes, and I can actually still feel the one that I would always feel on. It doesn't seem to be really that much of any difference in size. But then, back then, whenever I would feel there, I'd be like, that's definitely big, you know? And when you have health anxiety, it's almost like our perception on everything, whether it be like veins or colors of stuff, our pupils being dilated, noticing our heartbeat in our stomach. It's like we're seeing and we're twisting things because we're negative minded, and we have this new fear and obsession with death, dying, disease. We catastrophize, assume the worst. So it's almost like our eyes are playing tricks on us, right? So I'm feeling there. And then, of course, you know what happens when you feel on lymph nodes. Doctors will tell you, like, stop messing with it because it'll kind of swell it up a little bit and it can hurt. So that started to happen. Then I'm freaking out even more. So I had that. I have to go to the ENTs over a period of a year and a half, trying out different nasal sprays, begging for CAT scans, getting hearing tests, pressure tests. And they really couldn't find anything wrong. She looked in my ear a million times. I swear to God, I was like, it feels so real. It feels like there's something just clogged up in there. And she said there's not. And we did a pressure test, and she said it's like a tick or two off, which is, I shouldn't be able to feel that. But guys, when you have anxiety, you are super freaking sensitive to everything going on inside and outside of your body. You can feel literally everything. So even though my pressure might have been off 1 or 2 ticks, and that may have not even been caused by anxiety, my focus and sensitivity and awareness of it, and it made it so much worse. And that's a common theme with all the symptoms that you're dealing with, whether it's a normal bodily function, something that anxiety is causing, you know, or you're just having a real stomach issue or a cold, or you have something going on in your body that's relatively harmless, but our anxiety and our fear put into that, it magnifies the problem. It's almost like it brings our pain threshold down, in my opinion. That in my opinion, it does that. You know, when you're negative about something and you fear something and you put a lot of negative energy into it, it's going to hurt more. You know, think about it. When we were kids, our parents would tell us, like, you know, don't cry about that. It's going to make it hurt worse, or it's not going to make it feel better. So, you know, there's some truth about that. So that was my evolution of my symptoms. Now, guys, I'm leaving out like a ton of many other scares that just didn't last as long. I'm telling you, some days I could like bounce around 3 to 4 different things. You know, I feared blood clots in my leg. I had this fear of like aneurysms. I went through a little scare where I thought I had MS, and then maybe it's Parkinson's and ALS. Just many different cancers, neurological disorders, thinking I'm having food poisoning, or I'm having some severe reaction to some type of an antibiotic, or even stuff like vitamins and stuff like that. A million different freaking things. So the common theme is my symptoms changed, and there was a pattern to this. So why are your symptoms changing? Why did my symptoms change? Okay, instead of just going away after I finally accepted or learned how to deal with them or tolerate them or manage them or ignore them, why did they go to something else, which is extremely frustrating? Okay, it's because I never fully resolved what started the symptoms in the first place. See, we get so symptom focused once the symptoms start. So it's like symptom this, symptom that. So instead of me worrying about the lifestyle choices I was making and the negativity that led to me having those symptoms the first night when I had my panic attack, I just worried about the result, the symptoms, right? My chest pain, my heart rate, my blood pressure. I became so focused on that, and obviously that made my symptoms really bad. So after I finally got acceptance from it and everything, you know, and I thought I was good, right? I thought I had overcome it. This is it. I never really did any true work to rewire my brain. You know, sure, acceptance that this wasn't a heart problem was a big win in my health anxiety journey. You know, I was so happy to be past cardiophobia, and guys, cardiophobia is so freaking rough. Always fearing like sudden death and heart attacks and strokes and stuff. But since I didn't fully resolve the issues, and I didn't fix my lifestyle, I didn't grow. Anxiety is a sign we need to grow. I didn't transform. I didn't grow up. I didn't handle my fear of death and dying and disease. Whenever I have a new symptom, either caused by anxiety or just a normal thing that happens, or, you know, a sickness or whatever, I'm going to overreact and assume the worst again because I didn't fix it. All right? So that was one huge reason that my symptoms change, and it's a huge reason some of you have changing symptoms, because you finally have accepted that it's not this set of symptoms. I'm not going to put my focus and energy on them anymore. I'm not going to worry about them. And then they dissipate because fear fuels the symptoms, right? But you never fixed everything that needed to be fixed, so the message changes. So start viewing symptoms as messages. Once I made that switch, I changed my perception of symptoms. It became a lot easier. So your subconscious is just trying to let you know that it's upset, that it still needs work, and it does so with these physical symptoms. It doesn't know any other way to contact you. It can't just straight up be like, hey, change. No. It has to send you physical symptoms to get your attention. So in the beginning, it was definitely doing a good job of getting my attention, right? Except I wasn't working on what started it. It got my attention, it scared me, and that was the goal of my subconscious, to scare me. But I just became so focused on the message that I didn't work on fixing it or resolving it. And that's what happens. If you don't fix the root causes of your anxiety, the message will change, because my subconscious is like, oh, you're not worried about the chest pain anymore? Well, I'm still not good. So here's some headaches. Here's some stomach pain. Here's some globus hystericus. Here's some body aches, numbness, tingling. I can go on and on and on. I had tons of freaking symptoms, tons of message changes. So start viewing it as a message and view that it's necessary for the subconscious to change that message if you haven't fully rewired and healed. Your subconscious just wants help. And that could be a poke, or it could be screaming at you. It's crying out for help. That's what these symptoms are. And that's why they change. Some actions that I really needed to stop, obviously, was Googling. If you're jumping to Google when your symptoms change, you're signing yourself up for months of fear, right? Because if you haven't fully resolved what caused the anxiety or your fear of death and dying of disease, then you're not fit to get on Google and play doctor, okay? So that was a common theme with all my symptom changes. It could have just been my symptom changing and me getting nervous and scared and maybe seeing a doctor, but no, I jumped on Google, and then it would turn into these long, drawn-out phases of, different disease scares. So don't jump on Google. Work on the way that you react when you have new symptoms. I would jump the gun. I would have a new sensation. Oh, never felt that before. Since I've never felt that before, it probably could be something real, not understanding that I was still hypersensitive. I hadn't fully resolved. I didn't have no healing of my subconscious, right? I didn't handle the issues that started my anxiety. I didn't understand how anxiety worked. So overreacting to new symptoms is a big deal, because then you want to jump into Google, and then you catastrophize, and all that negative energy and focus. It's a lot of momentum on the wrong side. So I definitely needed to change the way that I reacted to symptoms. I had a huge problem with that. I needed to just kind of sit there with them for a few days, and if they got a little worse, maybe go to the doctor and get checked out, instead of just jumping to bad conclusions. So that's why symptoms change. It's because you still have something that needs to be resolved regarding your subconscious. You still have healing, you still have work to do, and the message is changing, right? But if you've never seen a doctor, you've never gotten your initial reassurance, you need to go do that, okay? I'm not here to diagnose you. I don't want you to just assume that you have anxiety. Be sure to go get that initial reassurance from a doctor. You deserve it. And you're not going to be able to work on your health anxiety or your anxiety in general if you're nervous about it being a disease, these symptoms being a disease or something. So you need to go get checked out. That's how you start working on acceptance and moving forward with that, which is hard, you know what I mean? So you might as well get the ball rolling. But if you made it this far in the video, thank you so freaking much. This helps me out a lot. Getting a better watch time definitely helps me get my message out to more people, and that's the goal of this channel. So if you made it this far, go down below in the comment section and put in all caps, symptoms are messages. Symptoms are messages. And remember, the message can change, and that's why your symptoms are changing, as long as you've been ruled healthy by a doctor. Remember, if you're interested in recovery, check out my course, Elite Anxiety Bootcamp. It's down below in the description and in the first pinned comment. It's my blueprint on what I did to get rid of these symptoms, okay? To desensitize, to recover 100% from my panic attacks that I was having every day, you know, the cardiophobia, the health anxiety, the generalized anxiety disorder. It has my schedule on what I did from the moment I woke up until I went to sleep. You know, the mindset change that's required to defeat anxiety. You need a lot of different things to come together at the right time to recover, and that course will be perfect for you. So try that out. It's changing a lot of people's lives. I want you to be a part of that as well. Also, the description below also has online therapy. If you've never tried therapy, good opportunity to try that. My Facebook groups, my Twitter, my Snapchat, my TikTok, my Instagram. All that stuff is also down below. Please hit like if you got value, guys. Subscribe if you're new. If you have subscribed and you haven't hit the notification bell, please do that today. It's frustrating having 72,000 subscribers, and then I look at my videos and it shows that in the first day, 100-something people get it via notifications, and then just a little bit more from their subscription feed. So anything to help this channel do a little bit better, I'm always going to request, from you guys, so hit the bell if you haven't. That would help out the channel a lot. But I love you guys. We're here in the dark living room again with my little candle guy over here going. Again, I'm going to probably put some stuff up in some different areas. I got some big plans as far as making an actual set. I may try to soundproof a corner of my office and do that. I think it'd be a little bit better. I'm gonna order some box lighting. I'm upgrading my phone really soon, so that'll be nicer. It'll be a better picture. There's some changes coming, but I'm probably gonna wait till after Christmas and the holidays are over with to get that finalized. But I love you guys so much. I hope you have a great weekend. I want to post tomorrow. There's a festival in town, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. But I should be able to post in the afternoon. So be on the lookout for a video possibly tomorrow. And then I'd like to try to get 2 out on Sunday. But I hope you guys are doing good. Hang in there. I know it's tough. I know recovery is tough, but you can do it. Trust me, if I did it, you can do it. All right? Be consistent, be patient, take the advice in these videos. But I love you all, and until next time, guys, keep fighting.